Yo, what's up nerds? It's MTG Man, and welcome to another $100 deck tech. Today, I'm talking about Malcolm Alluring Scoundrel. Now, this is another one of those decks where if I had a Seto Kaiba briefcase full of commander decks, this would be in it. I think Malcolm Alluring Scoundrel is a really fun deck, very simple, but very powerful. That being said, let's just get into it. So, 2 mana, 2/1, flash flying. When he deals combat damage to a player, which he probably will because flying, you put a course counter on him. And then you draw a card and discard a card. And if there are 4 more chorus counters on Malcolm, you can cast the discarded card without paying its mana cost. So this deck wants to cheat out big things and play big spells without paying their mana value with Malcolm's ability. You get counters by attacking, and then you also want to get counters by proliferating, and you just want to get to those big things as fast as possible. So let's just get into it. Eluge the Shoreless Sea, I like it, not even as a commander side grade, I just like it as a second option because it's going to be really big since the deck plays almost all islands. It's a mono blue deck, it really doesn't play many utility lands, so playing mostly islands allows Eluge to get pretty big. And then on top of that, the first instance or sorcery that you cast each turn costs blue or 1 less for each land you control with a flood counter on it. So this is just going to let you reduce the casting cost of your instants and sorceries, which will help you get big stuff into your hand, and or can help you like run out some of the bigger instants and sorceries that you would usually cheat out with Malcolm. It's nice to have a way to hard cast them. I just think it's a really fun card and fits pretty well into the deck. Moving into big stuff, a lot of these big creatures have nice cast triggers, and since Malcolm still counts as casting, since it's not like a reanimate, you'll still get the cast trigger, which is pretty nice. So Artisan of Kozilek will bring something back on cast. Darksteel Colossus doesn't really have a cast trigger, but it's just a really, really big creature, and I like that. Emrakul, the World Anew, when you cast it, gain control of all creatures target player controls, which is just very, very strong. Hullbreaker Horror doesn't have a cast trigger, but it can just return spells you don't control to their owner's hand, or return non-land permanents to their owner's hand, which is super strong. Jin-Gitaxias, you can't read this printing, but at the beginning of your end step, draw 7 cards, and each opponent's maximum hand size is 0. So they will start every turn with 0 cards in hand, if they discarded from 7 last turn, and you will start every turn with at least 7 cards in hand. It's pretty ridiculous. Kozilek the Great Distortion is going to let you draw up to 7 cards, depending on what's in your hand, which is just a really nice cast trigger, plus it's a huge creature. Amanatu's Augury is going to exile the top 8 cards of your library. You can put a land from among them onto the battlefield, and until end of turn for each non-land card type, you may cast a spell of that type from among the exiled cards without paying its mana cost. So this is a spell you cheat out, and then you can cheat out other spells with it. Beacon of Tomorrows is just a nice extra turn spell, plus you can shuffle it into its owner's library. And if you use something like Enter the Infinite, where you draw cards equal to the number of cards in your library, then put a card from your hand on top of your library, and you have no maximum hand size, right? So you cheat out Enter the Infinite, you put Beacon of Tomorrows on top of your library. Then on your next turn, you draw Beacon of Tomorrows, you cheat it out with Malcolm, and then it gets shuffled back into your library, so that's the only card in your library, and you can just keep taking infinite turns like that. Karn's Temporal Sundering is also just a nice extra turn spell. Mind's Desire can help you cheat out other stuff, and you can storm off, technically. Big Stretch lets you take... Time Stretch, not Big Stretch, Jesus Christ. Lets you take 2 extra turns, which is super powerful. Walk the Aeons lets you take an extra turn, which is pretty powerful. Omniscience lets you cast spells for free, which is super strong. And it's just... You're basically winning the game after you cast Omniscience for free. Engulf the Shores will wipe the board. I mean... Sure, this will get rid of Malcolm, but sometimes you just need to wipe the board of creatures in order for you to be able to get in, or whatever else. Draw-wise, the deck plays Merfolk Looter, Dig Through Time, Flow of Knowledge, Frantic Search, Impulse, Opt, Deep Analysis, Enter the Enigma, Ponder, Preordain, Serum Visions, Treasure Cruise, Mystic Remora. It wants to draw a lot so that you can get to the big things that you want to cast for free. Deepglow Skate will let you double the amount of counters on Malcolm, So if you're at 2, this can make you immediately go up to 4, and then you can just start swinging in and casting shit for free. Dreamtide Whale is just a nice way to proliferate, and who knows, you could have Malcolm at 1, and then by the end of the turn cycle, you could end up with 4, which is kind of crazy. Flux Channeler is going to proliferate whenever you cast a non-creature spell, so we can get Malcolm to 4 really quickly. Guildpact Informant will proliferate when dealing damage. The nice thing is, even if Malcolm gets removed, with these ways to proliferate, you should be able to get him back to 4 pretty quickly. Skyship Plunderer proliferates when it deals damage to a player. Same with Thrumming-Bird. Contagion Clasp, you can pay 4 to proliferate. Staff of Completion, you can tap and pay 3 life to proliferate. But you can also do things like tap and pay 4 life to draw a card, or tap and pay 2 life to add 1 mana of any color. So it just gives you different options depending on what you need. Experimental Augury is a nice draw spell that also proliferates. Ripples of Potential will protect your commander, along with proliferating. Serum Snare is removal, but also can proliferate if you send something with mana value 3 or less back to the hand. Steady Progress proliferates and draws a card. Contentious Plans proliferates and draws a card. Tezzeret's Gambit proliferates and draws 2 cards. Inexorable Tide will proliferate whenever you cast a spell, which can help Malcolm get up super fast. Mesmerizing Dose will proliferate and just tap an enchanted creature, and they don't untap. So we can kind of just remove a creature and proliferate. Karn's Bastion is proliferation on a land. Swiftfoot Boots protects your commander. Moving into ramp, we have Silver Myr, Arcane Signet, Commander's Sphere, Nobleman's Purse, Sky Diamond, Soul Ring, Thran Dynamo, and High Tide. High Tide, since the deck plays only islands, can actually just let you hard cast some of your big spells, which can get pretty nutty. Counterspell for removal, along with Negate, Rapid Hybridization, Reality Shift, Spell Pierce, Wash Away, Imprison in the Moon, Witness Protection. It gives you a lot of options depending on what you want to remove. Tutor-wise, the deck plays Step Through because you can Wizard Cycle it to search for a wizard. While there aren't that many wizards in the deck, there are one really important wizard, which is Flux Channeler, which is probably just the fastest way to get Malcolm up. So I thought I would just give it an include. You could definitely swap it out for something else. I just liked being able to get Flux Channeler super fast. And then 35 islands. And that's it. It's a very simple deck. But boy oh boy can it pack a punch. I don't think we keep that hand. I think we have to keep this hand. I think we put the Shoreless Sea on the bottom. We go Island, we pass. We have Rapid Hybridization if we remove something. We go turn 2 Malcolm, pass. Malcolm can swing for 1, put a counter on itself. We can Rapid Hybridization if we need to remove something. And we can also Wash Away if somebody plays their commander. Go to turn 4. Malcolm, swing, pass. Go to turn 5. Thran Dynamo. Malcolm, swing, pass. And then at this point, Malcolm will be at 4 counters. So we can go Malcolm, swing, right? Turn 3, turn 4, turn 5. Yep, turn 6. So we can go Malcolm, swing, go Beacon of Tomorrows to take an extra turn. Go to main phase 2. Exile this. Beacon of Tomorrows gets shuffled back in the library. Exile Rapid Hybridization. Thran Dynamo. Play Treasure Cruise. Draw 3 cards. And then we get to go into our extra turn because of Beacon of Tomorrows. We can play an island for turn. We opt. We look at the top 1. We will put it on the bottom. We get to draw. We can Deep Analysis to draw 2 cards. Sorry. Deep Analysis, draw 2 cards. And then Deep Analysis, flashback, draw 2 cards. And then a swing with Malcolm, time stretch, take 2 extra turns, go to another extra turn. Serum Visions, we look at the top 2. We put them on the bottom of the library, draw a card. Play an island for turn. I mean, at this point, there really isn't much the opponent can do. We can swing with Malcolm, walk the Aeons, If we wanted to, we could sacrifice islands to return Walk the Aeons back to our hand. But we still have an extra turn from Time Stretch, an extra turn from Walk the Aeons, so we're taking 2 more turns. And then on the next turn, we would just keep going. Basically, the deck just goes off and just keeps going with either extra turns, or it just cheats out a big creature, and then your opponent can't really do shit about it. Playing a second game, we go Opt, we look at the top card, we put it on the bottom of our library. I'm just going to put it in exile. We go to turn 2. Turn 2, we play Malcolm, we pass. We go Commander Sphere, swing with Malcolm, pass. Island, Impulse, look at the top 4. I think, as much as I want Flux Channeler or I want Beacon of Tomorrows, I think we return Staff of Completion to our hand. We put the rest on the bottom of our library. Then we swing with Malcolm, so Malcolm's at 2 counters. We run out Staff of Completion. We proliferate, so Malcolm's at 3 counters. We go to turn 5. On turn 5, we go... Well. I think we just swing with Malcolm for a Hullbreaker Horror. And then we move to main phase 2. We run out Walk the Aeons. We sacrifice 3 islands, so we get to put Walk the Aeons back into our hand. We take an extra turn. On our extra turn, we play an island. We dig through time for... Yep. And we get to look at the top 7, put 2 in our hand. So 1, 2. I don't even need to... well, Kozilek is tempting. And we put the rest on the bottom of our library. And then we would swing with Malcolm. Do we? No. We Omniscience, duh. And then we Emrakul the world anew, take control of all of target opponent's creatures. And then we walk the Eons for an extra turn. And then we Contentious Plan for free, draw a card. We enter the Infinite, put our library into our hand. We put Beacon of Tomorrows on top. And then we just infinitely cast it for free with Omniscience, taking infinite turns. So the deck wins on turn 5. As you can tell, this deck gets fucking out of hand. Out of hand for $100. It's pretty good. If you can't tell, the decks that I put in my briefcase are kind of bad guy decks. I don't mean like, well, Tergrid will be included. But these are decks that, like, you need to remove the commander. If you don't remove the commander, they win. They win pretty fast for being $100. You know, if you watch the Cormel video, Cormel can start comboing off like turn 4, turn 5 sometimes. If you watched the Flubs the full deck, Flubs can go fucking insane. I like commanders with impact. I like commanders that are doing things, big things. I want to feel like I'm Seto Kaiba with Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon on the table and everybody's against me. And you know, that means I lose a lot. Let me be honest. I don't always get to play commander. You know, I don't always get to go out there. But when I do, I lose a lot because I make these commanding decks, right? Where I put big things on the table and I'm destroying what the opponent's playing and I'm playing a good amount of removal and I'm assessing their threats correctly. And people hate when you do that, you know? Unfortunately, unless the table is 4 big bad guy decks, I'm always going up against 2 decks that are, I don't want to say under the power level, but they're going to team up on me. And sometimes, you know, I lose because I can't handle that. But I just love playing the biggest, scariest deck. And the fact I can play big, scary decks for under $100 is kind of crazy. Even things like Niv Mizzet just go off sometimes. The only real exception, if you like look at these, is like voting, which I'm not even sure if I'm gonna make a voting deck. Arctic Monkeys, because that deck's a joke, and Azmoran of Mardukai Destined Koldakar. Azmoran of Mardukai Destined Koldakar is only here because I fucking love Azmoran of Mardukai Destined Koldakar. Partially for the absurdity, partially because, like, I went to culinary school. That's an MTG, man, lore drop right there. But, like, I think Azmoran of Mardukai Destined Koldakar is super fun. And, you know, Underworld Cook, you know, I went to culinary school, why not? You know, I love her. It's a great character. But, like, even if you notice, Outlaws, Omnath, which I'm not talking 3-color Omnath, I'm not talking 2-color Omnath, I'm talking 1-color Omnath. I'm talking I get a really fucking big green dude on the board, and unless they can remove it, there's nothing they can do to deal with Omnath. I'm talking Tergrid, because Tergrid is just so mean. Tergrid is like one of the meanest decks out there. I love my big commanding decks. But that being said, this has been MTG Man, and I am signing off. I'll see you in the next one, or maybe there never will be a next one. What if I just disappeared, you know? I think about that sometimes. But peace out.